My ghost stories, yes. So I went to community college, and while going there, I made friends with a lady who worked at the local assisted living facility. Her and her husband, they were acting as caretakers of the facility, and they assisted the older folks, if they needed a light bulb changed or something like that. So um, one day she needed a ride, so I agreed to pick her up from there and take her to school. And so I get there, and she had told me, hey, I might be laying down, so just honk the horn. So I was like, okay, whatever. So I show up, and I honk the horn, and then, I busy myself with messing with the radio or whatever, all the things that you would do when you don't have a smartphone, because this was before smartphones. So, uh, and it seemed to take a while, and so I looked over at this big bay window that they had, and I saw a figure standing there, and I'm like, well, we gotta go. Hello. So when she finally came out and got in, I was like, why were you just staring at me? And she's like, I wasn't staring at you. And I was like, well, you were standing in the window. And she's like, no, I wasn't. And I said, all right, fine. So we started to drive off, and then I saw her husband walking down the street. And I had assumed if it wasn't her, it was him. And all the color drained away from my face, and I was pretty freaked out about that. Looking back, it was probably not that freaky, but yeah, it's still kind of a freaky story if you ask me. Maybe to somebody who's just hearing it, it's not. The other ghost story that I wanted to tell was about my mom. At least I think my mom haunts me. She passed away probably 7 years ago, and this story actually takes place like 2 years ago. And my mother's bathroom was set up with like the elder grab bars and stuff, and it was a shower you can sit in, and you can pull the head of the shower off. It has a hose, and spray yourself and everything. So my roommate and I really like that shower better than like the regular shower. So I was in there taking a shower, and I get out and I hear the sound, and it's this beeping sound, and I'm like, it's really weird. And I can't find the sound, but I start freaking out thinking, this is a fire alarm or some kind of, something's gonna explode. I don't know. So I go get the waffle, and I'm like, hey, what is this? Can you go in there and find out what this sound is? So he goes into my mom's room, and he comes back out, and he's like, it's the alarm clock. I'm like, how could it be the alarm clock? It hasn't gone off in like 5 years. How could it be the alarm clock? But sure enough, her alarm clock had decided randomly to start going off at like, 2 o'clock in the afternoon on a Saturday or something? Very strange. And I believe that we are haunted. I believe that we were haunted before my mother, and now I think my mom haunts us too. One of the stories from well, I guess it's after my mother passed away, so maybe it's her. I don't know. Anyway, my husband was playing video games, and the way our living room is set up is that it's a big screen TV which is connected to the computer, so he can game on the big screen TV. So he's playing Doom or whatever, and he gets up to go to the bathroom, and he comes back, and he starts trying to use the mouse, and it won't work, and he's like, what the hell's going on? So he goes to get some batteries, because it's a wireless mouse, and he pulls the batteries out of the mouse, and it wasn't working because they were in backwards. Which he was using it not like 5 minutes before, just fine. So our ghost seems to like electronics, because I've had that happen where I've taken a battery out of something and put it back in the same way, and it won't work, and then when I'm like, what the hell is going on? I realize that the battery's in backwards, and I put it in backwards, but the previous battery was in backwards too. So, I don't know. I don't know about any, like, really scary ghost stories. I don't really have any, like, really scary things that have ever happened to me, fortunately. So I guess I don't have any to share.